Hey there, Team Flyer. How are you today? We're back with Educational Fridays over here with Vanessa this month. We had her on September 11th and talking so much love about just teaching, about being a minority teacher here in the US, and tons of little tips and tricks. So if you haven't listened to that one yet, go right ahead and listen to that one. We're still talking about teaching because we love Educational Fridays over here at The Always Believer, and today's how to love our students and just to love them, period. Better said. Without further ado, here is Vanessa. Hi.
Hi, Ariana. How are you?
Doing great. So happy to have you here again. How are
Thank
you?
you so much. I'm as always honored and humbled to be here in your presence, in your light. Oh my gosh, it's just truly amazing. Thank you for having me
Of
all time.
course, of course. We already talked a little bit about in the first episode of like how we met, and of course through TikTok, because that's just the whole world of its own, especially in 2020 and in teaching. And I just really want to reach out to you because I love what you do and what you stand up for. I know you also have a podcast. And ever since we started like talking and whatnot, I got a lot of comments. I'm like, oh my God, who is she? I'm like, go follow her at Power Teaching. Like, just go follow her. Like, she has so much information about like not only teaching materials, of course, but just you have such a strong message out there. So thank you once again for taking a bit of your time to be with us here and chill.
Thank you. My honor. Thank you.
So we're talking today about loving our students. So what is the first thing that comes to mind when you hear that sentence, to love your students?
So first of all, I want to say that as a teacher, as an educator who obviously went to school to prepare herself to professionally teach, um like that's something that they don't teach you at school. Like they don't, and I will like to say that I went to a really good program. I feel that they prepare me well, and I don't hear a lot of teachers who say that because they often feel like, oh my God, they didn't teach me that, they didn't, right, I didn't learn. Well, with all that I feel my program was fair to me. I wasn't told that. I had amazing professors. Oh my goodness. Some of them were just unbelievable, but they don't teach you that. So right now, when I hear it right now in 2020, right, what does loving your student means to me as an educator? It means like it's the most important thing about my job. However, it's nowhere to be seen in my job description. Like nowhere in your job description says you're gonna love your students or a teacher should love her students. No, no, no. Like you respect them, right? Oh, yeah, well, yeah, we do that. But it's not part of our job description. They don't teach you that in school. But today, as an educator, as a teacher, someone who spends a long time with teenagers in a classroom 5 days a week, used to, right? Right now, it's not anymore. Everything is different and upside down, like we know it is. But I think it's the most important thing that we can do as teachers, as educators. Number one is loving your students. Like number one, love them and prove that to them. Prove it to them. You gotta prove it to them. Like you can just say I love you. You can just say I love you and write it and say, because everybody says I love you to everybody. That's something that I noticed when I moved to the States. Like, do you notice that in here? Everybody, I love you, I love you.
Yeah, I really,
Like
really
maybe
noticed
in our
that
culture, like it's just so in our culture, I don't go around saying people te amo, te amo, te amo, te amo, like the whole. I
the
don't
whole
know. Like we
time.
just
I do agree. I agree a
like
lot.
we're very affectionate,
We're
right? Like
very
we
affectionate. We love to hug. We love to say cariño, amor. They sort of like all these cute anagrams and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, definitely hear you say it a lot more. And I love, and I love to love, and I
yeah.
love spreading love, and like the always believer because this is that a lot, self love and caring for others and supporting others. But the fact that that love you kind of rolls off our tongue a little bit too quickly, I think it's a
Yes.
whole side subject, but I
No,
do
and
agree.
not that there is nothing wrong with that. It's just that I wasn't used to that. Like I just, I come from a culture, like you said, we're very affectionate. We hug, we call each other mi amor, mi vida, my love, mi cielo. Right? We call each other words, but we don't just go, hey, te amo, te amo, te amo, te quiero mucho. Hey, not really. Like we just don't do, and that's okay. Like
And
that
that's
doesn't,
okay. I do agree. That's
yeah.
absolutely fine. It's really different though, so I do agree. So it loses a little bit of the essence of showing someone that you love them and you really care. That's what we're trying to get at with this conversation. Hence, that's a question. How do you show up for your students?
Oh,
What do
that's a
you
great
do?
question. Yes. So people often ask that, like, how do you prove your students that you love them? Number one, I want you to notice, and when you love someone, think about someone that you love, your kid, right? Let's think about our kids, our children. When you love your mom, when right, like if they ask your kids, if they ask your children, does mommy loves you? Like, are you like 90 or 80% sure that your kid is more likely to say, yeah, well, yeah, my mom loves me, right? And you just know it. A kid know it. A kid know it whether he's 5 or 15. I always say a kid knows love because you don't just say it. You gotta feel it. They got to feel loved. How do you show them love? When you take the time, when you listen, when you show them, yeah, that you care, when you stop the lesson to take care of something that needs to be taken care of. And right, it's not your job to help a kid clean up this, or to, it's not in your job description, but you do it because it is within your heart to love on them, to help them, to serve. So they see it, and they really see it. Like, I like to tell my students, I love you already. Like, I feel so grateful for being, you know given this magnificent privilege of teaching you, of guiding you. I love you for it. Like, I
And
really love you
especially
for it.
from the beginning with you. I remember that I think you did a TikTok and we talked about it briefly that you tell them like the very first day you meet them,
I
basically.
love you. I love you. I love you. And they say, sometimes I look at you like, oh, who's she? Right? And they think it's weird. And I don't care. I say, I don't care. Like, you'll see. You'll see. And then after 3 or 6 months, or sometimes when my new students talk to my former students who have been in my classroom, they go, oh yeah, no, she loves you. Like, she really does. Like, you'll see. You'll see. Like, they'll feel like it's, you'll see. You'll see. They see it. They see it in the every day. You show up. You give them, I don't know, a good day. You show them a good day, even though when the lesson fell, but you still somehow make it through, and you show them a good time in your class, and you make them laugh. You it's hard to say hug them because you cannot hug them any longer. This is gonna be so hard for me as a teacher. Like,
It's
I
gonna
don't
be a
know.
tough one. Without that, we know it's temporary. We know science is a thing, and vaccines will be
Yes.
on its way. But meanwhile,
When you do
it's
your
tough.
job with love,
Yeah, exactly.
they notice, they feel it. And we all love in different ways. Like, you don't have to be the most affectionate person. We all love in different ways. Like, I want to say, oh my goodness, my all my colleagues love our students, but we are different people, so you show them love in different way. I don't know, Mrs. Russell, Miss May stay, after school and play Dungeons and Dragons, these things that they,
Yeah,
I don't know how
Dungeon
to
and
say it. What
Dragons,
is it? Chat rooms.
Dungeon and Dragons.
There you go. So just stays and plays with that with the kids right now. And I found that so loving. She doesn't have to. I cannot do that. I cannot stay every day, but I make sure in class, I don't know, I clap for their triumphs. I tell them, it's okay. I listen to them. I you show them love, and they will know.
And
It's so important.
it's so important, exactly. I feel like you can definitely tell when someone loves their job. And as a teacher, as a former teacher myself, I always had different, of course, coworkers. And some people did it for the, well, not even for the money precisely, but did it for the experience, better said. They did it just something as like a stepping stone to go somewhere else and do something else. But the people who really show up and care, you can totally tell because those are the ones that like you can see the most progress in the students. And this goes like they're people. Yeah, they're students. You might have 500 of them. My best friend is an art teacher and she has 580 students, which is insane. But they're still human beings with heartbeats, with needs and desires. So you have to like show up for every single one of them in the best way possible because you're human. You're also only one person, but still like make them feel like they're the most important thing in that moment, that class itself.
Yes, you make them feel that. So when we talk about this, sometimes people want to know specific things. Tell me, what do I do to show a kid love? So I could list the things that I do, but here's the thing: there are gonna be things that you're gonna feel uncomfortable with doing. There are gonna be things that you're gonna be like, well, I cannot just go and I don't know, and dance with them, or I can't. I don't. I feel uncomfortable with doing that. but I can stay after school and draw with them, even though I teach math. Like drawing has nothing to do with math, or right? But I love doing this, or I love checking on Anita, or I love going to I don't know, to John's basketball game and then be there for him and say, hey, let me cheer you on. And that's meaningful for them when you do little things like that. So there are many ways in which we can show love. And I don't think is I don't I, like I can't understand when someone say like, well, that's not part of my job. Like, no, that's not part of my job, because you hear it, because people say, well, that's not part of my job. They don't pay me to do that. They don't pay me to stay late. They don't pay me. No. Well, then you're gonna have a hard year. Then you're gonna have a hard year. Like if you don't believe, yeah, sure, loving your student, absolutely right. It's nowhere in your job description. It is not, technically it's not part of your job. But then you're gonna have a hard year and you're gonna hate your job. Because if you don't love on those kids are not gonna love you back. And if they don't love you back, oh my God, they are gonna make your life a living hell. Like, or perhaps they will not make it a living hell, they will make it harder. They will not show up, they will not care what you have to say to them, and they will act up in class and don't do the homework, and I don't care, whatever. What's she gonna do? Give me an F. Oh, look how much I care. Some kids don't care.
That's
Right?
true.
They
And,
just show up.
you're talking about kids at the end of the day, and you're talking about teenagers in your particular case. And that's the moment of your life that you're figure out who you are for the first time ever. I feel like it's an ongoing process always, but for the first time ever, you're involved with so many, feelings and emotions and first dramas, first heartbreaks, first everything. So like they need someone to go into to feel safe, to feel confident. So you gotta love, of course, love, sorry, but you gotta give that respect back, because
Yeah.
they're still, even if they're just quote unquote just 15, even though I do not believe in like, oh, they're just kids, they're human beings. You were 15 once one day, and you deserve the same amount of respect at 15 than at 55.
I
Period.
love that you're talking about loving teenagers, right? Like
Well, in this
yes,
specific
that's
case,
what they
yes,
need.
because
Yes,
you're
my
you
kids, yes. My kids need the feel to feel respected. Like my teenagers, they need to feel that they are adults, because they're young adults. They don't want to be treated like little kids. They want you to listen. Please listen to me, because mom doesn't listen to me. She doesn't care. Okay, I do care. Tell me, of course mom cares. You think she doesn't care? So it's my job to, so let me hear you. Okay, I'm gonna have it. Let me hear you. Go, give it to me. And then I have to like find a way. Listen, mom and dad do care for you. This is why she's doing that. Or this is, I will actually do the same. And I love you. And your mom loves you, right? Like I will do the same. If you were this age, like I will, you will. Because they think mom and dad hates them. They think Senora loves them. So they go like, you will do, and I will. Oh my God, yeah. You know what? Because I love you, is that I will do that. Because I love you, is that I will put you on timeout. Because I love you, is that I will take your phone away, take your kids away, tell you are not going here or there, because I love you. But I'm not your parent, so that's not my job. Your mom and your dad are doing their job. So you're saying, right? That's what teenagers have the need to feel. They gotta feel
mm-hmm.
respected. But I was also a preschool teacher. So when you're
Me
a
too.
preschool teacher, so it's different. So they don't need to feel like an adults, like they don't need to feel like adults, because they are not adults. But they just want you to play row, row, row your boat gently down the street. Like, right, when I was a preschool teacher, like I would go and play with them and then slide down this, right? And sometimes you see a teacher, well, I'm not doing that. Like that's not okay. Maybe you don't have to go down the slide, because you either perhaps you don't want to, you feel uncomfortable, you can. That's okay. It's okay. But when you sing with them and then give them a warm smile and hello and your dress and your shoes and right, kids know.
They
They know.
know. They
They know. You just
know.
have to show love different according to your audience, according to your kids,
Exactly. Because
and according to who you are. Because once again, we love in different ways.
I adore that. We do love in different ways, and something that people need to remember, because people think that love shows up in one specific way the whole time, and you're like, no, not only do you love in different ways because you're a human being and you just show love differently, it also depends on the age. I do agree with you as well, because I also taught elementary school, and even little teeny babies of preschool and whatnot, and you just play with them. You just roll on the floor. Like I was the first one sitting down with them and showing them all the different colors, and like also like what you said about their outfits, they like their whole face lights up, all these sorts of things. So yeah, it's definitely different. Um, I know you had a
Something that,
story to tell us as well.
oh yes, yes, yes. So I wanted to talk about, how did I figure this out? So they don't teach
Exactly.
you this in school. They don't teach you this in school. It's not in your job description. They don't tell you you're gonna have to love your students. They don't tell you. No administrator, no one is gonna hire you is gonna tell you, by the way, you're gonna have to love your students. Or loving your students is part of your job. No one tells you that because that's not your job, technically, quote unquote. I figured it out as a substitute teacher. I wasn't even formally teaching yet. I was a long-term substitute teacher at this high school. It was actually the first time that I worked in high school, and up until that point, I thought I wanted to do little kids, and that's what I said myself. And oh, I want to do little kids. Then I did middle school, and it was okay. I was like, yeah, no, I like little kids. And then I went and did the big kids. My son calls my students the big kids. So I went and did the big kids, as my son calls them. He's 4. And that was it. I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. And so I was a substitute teacher, and I had this class. It was a hard class. It was about 12 students, and they all had either behavioral, academical, or mental problems. or mental pro- oh, mental problems. Words are not coming out today. And and so it was a hard class, and I remember that I had a para in the class, and I also had a special ed teacher in the class, but I was the teacher teaching the class, teaching the content. I think it was Spanish 1, and I had this student, we're gonna call him Caleb. And so the number one thing about Caleb is that I couldn't pronounce his name properly. And then I was like, I gotta learn how to pronounce your name, and that troubled me for like a couple weeks. And I was like, this is so bad. And I was like, can I call you Kay? And he was like, yeah, please call me Kay. Call me Kay. Yes. So I think it was also a little better that I couldn't pronounce his name properly, and this is why it's so important to learn to pronounce your kid's name properly. So I started to call him Kay, and Kay will always come into the class without even a pencil or piece of paper where to write. Kay will come into the class. Of course, if he will not bring a pencil, he will not even bring a backpack, no homework, nothing, right? Caleb tarea, no. Caleb tarea, no. Caleb tarea, no. Caleb tarea, no. I always had the pencil and paper or something for him because I knew him. And then I started to say, Caleb, the day that you do your tarea, I'm gonna throw a fiesta. I'm gonna throw a big fiesta. We're gonna have a fiesta. I'm gonna bring a cake. He was like, no, you wouldn't. Oh, I will. You try me, right? He kept doing no tarea day after that, and day after day I repeated. The day that you do your tarea, Caleb, I'm gonna throw off a day after day I repeated. This specific day, Caleb showed up with the tarea. It was in a wrinkled piece of paper. I remember it was a wrinkled piece of paper, and I'm collecting the homework, and he had it there like it was like he will always sit on his seat like way down where he was supposed to, like no nice straight, but all like right, which is like a little band and like
Yeah, a little
with
slouchy.
that attitude of whatever, I'm here, right? But no, I'm sorry, but if that's how you wanna see it, it doesn't bother me. Like you see however you wanna say, as long as you're quiet, let me do my job, please. You wanna cross your legs, oh my god, please do. I'm sorry, I don't find that respectful because I more than anything I want you to be comfortable. So I will do anything for my kids' attention. So, because I feel like that's part of our jobs. You do anything that you can. So, and if you're not being unrespectful, is fine with me. So he shows up with the tarea, and this is the funny thing because he showed up with the tarea, and of course I freaked out and I go, "Oh my god, can you have your tarea? This is amazing. I cannot believe it. Everybody gave me the homework, and I go to prison, and right? He's like, no, 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 no. He didn't want the praise. He was like, no, well, and he says, well, I actually did it, but I actually didn't do it. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, well, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I did it 5 minutes. I walked into your class. I Googled every question, so I copy it from Google. So I didn't do it because I copy everything. And I go, listen, I don't care how you did your homework. I don't care where. I don't care that it's wrinkled. For the first time you did your homework, and for the first time I get to go on power school and give you a big humongous A instead of a like 0. Like that's gonna feel so good. Like that's gonna feel so good. And so I told him, I'm like, if you do your homework 3 times in a row, I'm gonna go and get rid of a couple zeros. Like if you do it, and we're gonna have a fiesta next class. Sure enough, next class I bought a cake and a couple balloons, just a couple of things. And then he walked in the classroom and I decorated and I was like, felicidades cake, and everybody was like, oh, dude, she's throwing you a party. Like she's actually throwing you. He was like, no, she's not. And he would always say to me, you are weird. You're so weird. You're so weird. And after a while, I figured that's his way of saying thank you. He never thanked me. This is a kid who never said thank you. But he said and showed me love in so many ways back. But he always said to me, you're weird. And that day he walked into the classroom, he looked at me, he's like, I can't believe you did. I'm like, we're having a fiesta. And everybody said, yeah. And I'm like, we're having it the last 15 or 20 minutes of class. And everybody was like, yeah, let's do it. So we did the cane. He was like, you're weird. Like everybody was like, and we like clapped for him. Yay, K, 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 right? And so he did the homework the second time. And he did the homework the third time. And in the third time when he did the homework, like, I did little things like he started to do work. He started to try hard. He started to react and to do things that he's supposed to do. And his special ed teacher, the parent in the room, they were like, man, you're changing him. This is not okay. You're changing him. And to me, that was a big realization. To me, that like click. I was like, oh, this is it. So you gotta prove a kid that you love him. You gotta prove a kid that you care about them, and they will show enough eventually. It may take a while, but they will eventually will be like, all right, let me hear what you have to say. Okay, let me do the homework. So they will ask him. They ask him because this was a kid who had academic problems in a lot of classes, and I remember they started to ask him. I'm like, so what? How come you only doing your Spanish homework and you're not doing the other homeworks? And his answer was like, well, because that's because Senora Chronic, because she's different. She's different. Like in his own, like she's different. She's different. That was the only way of saying, well, she's perhaps the only teacher who have able to, who's been able to show me, I don't know, care or love, or I don't know, who clicked with me. I promise you, that kid did the homework not because he cared about the grade. He didn't care about his grades a bit. He just did the homework because he didn't want it to disappoint me. And I was his substitute teacher, and he started to say, you're my teacher, you are my teacher, you are my teacher. That other teacher is going to come back and she's not my teacher, you are my teacher, you are my teacher. He would say that. And after teacher came back and I would see it in the hallway and he would say, you are my teacher still, even though you are my teacher still. And it's funny because then I remember one time I was walking by and he was like talking to these girls and he's saying he had a hard name to pronounce. So I remember he's teaching the girls how to pronounce their name and he says, call me Kay. And I was like, oh my God, you are telling the girls to call you Kay as I call you. Like I was like, oh, because I thought he'd like it. So I feel like when I showed him that I care about him, he started to care about me and he accepted me for who I was. And he was like, okay, you know what? I understand that you cannot pronounce your name. Okay, I'm cool with you calling me Kay. And not only accept that, but I want to embrace that. Can somebody else call me that? Because, and he will, I was like, oh my God. So that's how I realized it with that kid. And that was at the beginning of my teaching career. And I'm happy that happened because that helped me a lot. Like that's my philosophy. You asked me what's the most important thing that an educator should do. You gotta show those kids love. You gotta show those kids that you love them, that you care about them. Because as sad as it is to say this, but some kids don't have the love they need and deserve at home.
I agree. That was a very rewarding story, and I love listening to these because you can tell your passion and love and drive behind them, and the fact that you're able to teach us these kind of memorable moments, even if you're not teachers, if whoever's listening, you aren't a teacher or a mom just yet. It's still that that shows love no matter the age or the moment. It's just love, like we were saying before.
Yeah, love and care. Like think about it, even as an oral, like when you know there's someone, let's not talk about someone, like think about a company, when you're hiring someone, perhaps you're hiring a lawyer or you're buying a house, right? When you can trust your agent, you're buying a house and you know what, she's not just here for the sale, for just to do the sale. He actually wants me to find a home I love and that accommodates to all my needs. That's awesome, right? You trust that person and you feel comfortable with, oh my God, doing such a humongous thing, such as buying a house with this person, trusting this person that they are gonna do the best thing for your situation. So as I feel that we all want that. We I don't know, we all want to feel loved. We all want to feel that they care, that, you know, whether it is a teacher or a mom or whatever it is that you do your job, if you don't show your customer that you care and that
Mm-hmm.
you are not just there for the money to collect the right, the $2 or the paycheck in my case, like the kids know, like they know. Oh yeah, you hear them. Like it's sad to hear them say that. Oh no, she's just here collecting her checks. Like that's it. She doesn't care. Like you will hear those kids. You will hear those words from kids' mouths. They will, because they feel it, because they know it. Because a kid can have, it is possible that a kid have a D and an F in your class and still know that they are loved by their teacher. I have an F,
Correct.
but
Yep.
she loves me. I have an F, but she loves me. I had a teacher in high school that is the teacher that I love the most. Name was Consuelo, and she was my math teacher. And of course, I'm been always been bad at math, and so, and my mom always said that to me, like she's my favorite teacher. She said, I don't understand, because I will always complain about all my teachers and be like, that's their fault. As a teenager, right? You're like, that's their fault, it's not me, mom, right? But I will not talk badly about Profe Consuelo. Like I will not. Mom and Profe Consuelo did this, and I'm sure my eyes will light up when I talk about her. Mom was like, why you love her so much when you were failing her class? And I'm like, because she loves me. I knew that she did. Because, right? She showed me love. Like she was just warming and charming. And I remember her smile. She always had her smile. I remember her smile as I'm talking about her. And I'm like, well, Mom, I love her because she loved me back. So you feel it. When you feel that, when you feel love, you give back.
And that's something like one of the most important messages that we can give throughout the podcast in general, or this episode and just our lives. Like, you give that love and it'll come back, because we just like, or treat people the way you want to be treated. And
Yes,
it's something.
exactly. Oh, you said it. That's it, the golden rule, please. Like,
Exactly. It's literally that, and the fact that you can see yourself so passionate about this. And it reflects a lot on who you are as a person, of course, but also brings, it's a mix of what we said the other day in our previous podcast. A mixture of seeing someone from Latin America, seeing someone who has an accent, seeing someone who looks different, but maybe you can just like recognize, like, oh my God, she looks like me. And at the same time, she's loving and passionate and making this actually fun, entertaining, or just some sort of, you know, better than the other classes. I'm also at a loss of words today.
yeah.
But it's true.
And
Like when you really love it, it's true.
and something sad, I feel like something very sad as an educator is that, so we tried a lot at our school to show our kids that we love them, that they are cared, that we are there to protect and to, right, to be there for them. And I feel that we often, and as high school teachers, I'm talking about my colleagues and I, about administration, it's so frustrating when you hear a kid saying, wow, I just have never felt this way at any other school. I just have never felt that a teacher actually cared for me. Like kids said to other kids, you know how your teachers always say, yeah, we care for you, and they actually don't. Well, these teachers do care for you. Like when our perhaps juniors or seniors are talking to our new freshmen, they like you hear that. They genuinely will tell you that. Like, but you know, you always hear your older teachers at your older schools, well, no, these teachers will care for you. That's the most. So it's beautiful to hear that that's how your current students feel, but it's so heartbreaking when you hear a 15-year-old walk into your classroom and say, oh, wow, I just have never felt that way in any other school or with any other teacher. It's sad because they're beautiful kids. They're all in their own unique way. They're all perfectly, imperfectly beautiful, like they are. And why do I have Matthew, Lisa, Nita, and Johnny telling me that they have never felt that way before? You fell. As a teacher, you fell. As a school, you fell. And as a system, you fell. Because why is Matthew, Anita, and Johnny here in ninth grade telling me, oh, I never felt this way before? Genuinely telling you that, oh, kiddo, because we fell on you. Because we as society, as educators, we fell on you. It's that. So
That's
it is
just,
not in our
that's,
job description, but it should be like, I don't know, it's like a law of teaching. Like it should be, I don't know.
it should be, it's
That's how
not
I
even,
see it.
it's not even an unwritten rule, because still to this very day, You know, a lot of teachers, especially with age, are like, oh, I'm older now. I've done this 20 years and 25 years. And I'm like, but this goes back to everything. Remember your why. Remember your purpose in life. Remember why you started. I feel like I say this a lot to previous clients when it comes to like marketing and they're opening their businesses or social media accounts. And I'm like, it doesn't matter if you have 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000. Like, remember your why, because you know life gets in the way. It's very frustrating. We have ups and downs. We have things like a pandemic happening currently this year, and we forget. So you have to remember why you started and your why, and that goes to show you in your particular case, even as a substitute teacher, you're like, okay, I love my job, I want to be a teacher for XYZ, and also I love my students. Also, this is like what's the most important thing for them to like
That's like an yes, that's
understand.
like also an advice for potential new teachers because they always ask you. Here's like an advice for anyone who's going into education. They always ask you why you want to do this job. I hope when I am on those panels trying to hire new educators for my school, like I hope their why is their kids. Because fine, so then you have people, oh, because I am passionate about teaching chemistry. I'm passionate about it. I love that. Like that's my thing. So that is wonderful that you love chemistry. But so if your why, if your priority, if you're not there for the kids, maybe they're gonna warn you out, or you're gonna warn yourself out. You love chemistry, but you're gonna have to spend a long time with these kids that are, I don't know, 11 or 15 years old. I don't know when do they start doing chemistry.
We need. I
I don't
think.
need to know that.
I
That's
think.
not my
I
department.
don't know.
I'm gonna say that's not my department because it's not. But right. So your why has to be the kids, because if your why is just because you are passionate about teaching your subject, or because if your why is something that is not as meaningful as love, then you're eventually going to get tired and quit. And I have seen that. I have seen that. And they
Me
are
too.
wonderful. There are wonderful teachers out there. They're great educators. But when they don't genuinely love the kids, they walk out from the profession because they're gonna, this is not for me. I don't want this. And that's okay. That's okay. That's totally okay that that's you. But then it's just not fair to them. It's not fair to them because absolutely every kid in our world deserves an oral in their classroom, in each classroom, not in their school, in their classroom, that makes them feel loved, wanted, respected, right, cared for. So
Completely agree. What other message do you have currently for us? Because I know I'm missing a couple of things.
right now I feel that with everything that is going on, that right, is so much uncertainty. We've been in this for, like, I know it's September, but I don't know, it's like way over 6 months, and it feels that we've been in it for years. Like, I there's something that I heard the other day, that this I heard this like a couple months into the pandemic, and look where we are, and I keep going back to it. Is giving yourself the grace to hey, you know what? Perhaps I'm not doing things perfectly, but nobody has any idea what they're doing. I'm doing great. Don't stress. You're doing wonderful. I'm sorry, maybe you're a mom at home and your house is a mess, but look, you have now the kids full time at home, or doing the hybrid model and have the kids half time at home. And whatever you are, it's giving yourself the grace of, no, I am great. I can do this. I'm doing well. Yes, giving yourself grace, and not no like trying to put yourself down for not doing things perhaps in a better way. I feel that I'm not being my best teacher right now because I have to teach my kids presentially and also virtually, and it's hard because that's not my best. That's I feel that I could be better, but I'm doing my best. The truth is, right now, believe me and trust me, I'm doing my very best. So if anything, I should be proud of. Should be proud, right? And so give yourself some grace, right? Give yourself some grace of, oh my God, I'm doing well. I'm hanging in there. I'm strong still. I'm still trying. I haven't give up. I'm still trying. I haven't give up. Feel that that's something important right now, right?
Oh, I agree. But yeah, definitely, of course, I agree, sweetheart. I love these kind of conversations as well, because I feel like it just shows us, we show each other that really what we were saying before, love is all you need. Obviously.
Yeah, like the song says, yes.
Exactly. Oh, I love the
All
Beatles
you
so
need
much.
is
Is
love.
love.
Do,
Do, do, do, do,
do.
do.
All
All
you
you
need
need
is
is love. Do, do, do. I love the Beatles so much, and that song I sing like on a daily basis. That one and Here Comes the Sun. Those two songs have helped me in like really dark, difficult times, and this year's definitely one of them for most of the world, if not all the world. So yeah, all you need is love, and Here Comes the Sun. Just kind of keep that bright light, and know that I love what you said as well. Like you're all in the same. We're all in the same boat. Like we're in the middle of a pandemic. We're in the middle of a really difficult year, but no one really knows what the f is going on or what to do with life. We're just kind of like, okay. So that goes out to all my teacher friends that I have a whole bunch listening, to moms out there, much like you in this particular case, who are also teaching and doing hybrid, and then their kid is also doing hybrid. Daycare and maybe not daycare. And
if you have kids during pandemic, like if you're a parent, wow, like yeah, because that's what we're dealing with right now. Wow, it's difficult. So right now more than ever.
self-love,
Yeah.
self-love and self-care. Make sure you have time for yourself. I think that's going to be actually my last question for you, if I'm honest. How do you self-love and self-care?
I I do things that I know do well to me. I respect myself. I respect my body. I have boundaries. I say, no, thank you. I am not going to go to that, or I'm not going to do it, or I can't sign for that, because that is my time to, I don't know, to do something I love, to do yoga. I do yoga every day. That's part of who I am. I take a minute where I say, right now, during this 60 or 30 minutes of 20 minutes of yoga, first me, second me, and third me, because I also matter. And right now, I am gonna do me. Because right, I already did everything and everybody else. Like it's prioritizing oneself too. Is saying no, I deserve this. No, I'm gonna do this. Like self love is not just going to get your nails done and your hair right. No, how are you truly loving in your heart, in your soul? How are you loving yourself? How are you? What do you do for you? How do you like you go and get your nails done, but that feels good and stuff to see your nails, but that doesn't really that's like quick happiness. That's like quick.
Mm-hmm.
It goes. You feel really good for a few hours, and that's it. What do you really do to love yourself in a daily like matter? Oh, I commit to meditate, and I do this for me because I have to meditate. Or I commit um I feel like it's got to be something that doesn't have to be with work. Like perhaps it can be work because for some of us, okay, here we are working, we love this. This feels good to us. This is part of who we are. Podcasting, this is who we are. But it's still work. Still work because
It's
yeah,
still work.
still work, right? It's
We
still work.
forget. We forget though. I do admit I forget, because I love my job and I know I'm working really big for my goals and achieving my dreams. But you're like,
So
and it makes me feel good because I love doing these things. However, you're like, oh, it is work though. So like, I need
yeah,
something
but
else that's not that.
yes, to
Yeah.
answer your question, like no, like I love for myself by doing yoga daily, by respecting my body, by by prioritizing myself, by saying no to others. No, because I don't want to do that. I know that you like me to do it and that society will want me to do it, but actually I don't want to do that and I'm not gonna do it because it doesn't feel right. Because no, I respect myself, I love myself. That doesn't align with me. Like no, thank you. It's loving in yourself. It's accepting yourself fully, like embracing yourself, even though there are things that you don't like about you. I things that I don't like about me, but I have them, and I try to work on loving them every day. That's what I
I
do.
love your answer. I love your
Thank you,
spirit and I
Ariana.
love your energy. I really do. I'm so thankful to have you here. Wrapping up with the last 3 questions, ask every person that comes on, of course. The first one is 3 words to describe you.
3 words to describe me. Oh my God, hardworking. I don't know if that's one or two.
That's one.
Hardworking. I think there should be two, but okay. I would say I'm hardworking, kind, And passionate. I would say that. Hard worker. If I don't know something, I know I can figure it out. Kind. I treat everybody in the way I want to be treated. And passionate. I don't know. I tend to have an addictive personality. So I become, because everybody has addiction. So I'm really aware of that. So I become addicted to things that do good to me: yoga, meditation, podcasting. I don't know, TikToking. um, I don't know, right? So yeah. So I'm passionate, and when I do something, I like to try to do the best I can, because it brings me, right, brings well to my heart, and it lights up the fire. So I will definitely consider myself as someone passionate, and I feel that it comes with my culture. Like, that's how we Colombians are.
Mm-hmm. It does come with the culture, but I love that. Something that lights my fire. I love that sentence.
Thank
What
you.
are you thankful for?
What am I thankful for? I'm thankful for my life, number one, because it's how lucky are we that we are here. I am thankful for my life. Thank you so much, because I am here. I get to breathe. I get to be a mom. I get to be a teacher. I get to be a wife, a friend. Wow, thank you. I'm thankful for my life, because we're still here. Think about what we're going through. How many beautiful and amazing, and everybody that we lost unfairly and stupidly. Want to say that, like, it's just stupid that we couldn't figure this out sooner, that we didn't have a solution. Like, what is wrong with our role? What are our priorities? So now more than ever, I'm thankful for my life. Thank God I'm here.
That's beautiful. I do agree. Without a doubt. And last and definitely not least, my darling, where can we find you?
You can find me at my podcast. It's Empower Teaching Podcast. If you go and find it, any of your podcast apps, it should be there. Um, and then on social media, I'm on Instagram and on TikTok as at Empower Teaching Podcast. And if you want to get in touch with me, collaborate or something, I'll love to hear from you. I say the quickest way is always to send me a DM on Instagram, and then you can email me also at empowerteachingpodcast@gmail.com.
Thank you very much. I'm
Thank you
definitely
so much for the
linking.
opportunity, Ariana. Like, it's just so nice to talk to you. Like, we can just talk for ages. Like, it's so hard. When we first started to talk, we just talk, okay, we need to start recording. Hello.
That's so true. We can talk so natural and organically, and this is what we love our community. This is what brings us together, that we have to show up for each other. I'm a huge advocate of showing up for each other. Doesn't matter how big or small the account, or how big or small the company, or whatever it is that they're
Yes,
doing. And we just make these kind of things happen because the world needs more of us, period.
that's it. Yeah.
So thank you once more. Hope you have a beautiful day, all
Thank you.
you, and drop the comments down below. It's all linked down below. You'll definitely know where to find her.
Thank
Bye,
you so
love.
much. Bye.